Yeah.
This one makes sure I went to those.
Okay.
Thank you, Margie.
She's not leaving without a letter.
Well, I think we need a copy. We should have a copy of it. Should we have a copy of the letter?
We will transmit it to Recreation tomorrow. We need to have a copy here.
Okay, next item.
With the picture back?
And get you a copy?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
All right, I know that they're under the wire to get this grant.
Okay,
submitted.
great, thank you.
Deadline's
Have a good
tomorrow.
night.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
Next item on, next item on our agenda is the appointments to the Historic District Commission.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. O'Leary.
with a couple of vacancies on the Historic District Commission, and after consultation with the chair, Mr. Franza, we have three applicants. Lisa Santilli, Will Burkmeyer, and Grant Baxter. It will be my recommendation and the recommendation of the chair of the Historic District Commission to have the board appoint Lisa Santilli and Mr. Burkmeyer as the members, and to have Mr. Baxter as an associate member. So, on the commission, one of the requirements is that we have a real estate person there, which we are not currently in compliance with. Ms. Santilli fills the bill. She was a former member of the Historic District Commission and is willing to serve again, which I would greatly appreciate. Mr. Burkmeyer is a longtime resident of the town, also owns an historic building, and was one of the first people to take advantage of our new historic preservation bylaw over on Park Street. So obviously has a keen interest in preservation and would be a welcome addition to the commission. And again, we appreciate Mr. Baxter stepping forward and willing to participate too. So my recommendation to the board will be to appoint Lisa Santilli and Will Burkmeyer as the permanent members and Mr. Baxter as the associate.
Okay, we'll be doing this as in a roll call vote. By the way, Mr. Burkmeyer did serve on the IT committee initially when the beginning of bringing the town hall up to state of modern technology.
That was a
He
quantum leap.
He was an active member of that committee back then. Okay, so, Mr. Yule, this will be a
Yes.
roll call vote.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I move to place in nomination the following names for appointment as members of the Historic District Commission for terms to expire on December 31, 2012. There are two openings, Lisa Santilli at 12 Old Coach Road and Will Burkmeyer at 85 Park Street.
And,
Put in Mr. Baxter's name too.
yep, name all three.
Oh, okay, and Grant Baxter, 32 Havel Street.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, second by Mr. O'Leary. This will be a roll call vote. Mr. O'Leary.
Lisa Santilli, Will Burkmeyer.
Mr. Yule.
Lisa Santilli, Will Burkmeyer.
Mr. Vino.
Lisa Santilli, Will Burkmeyer.
Mr. Delaney.
Lisa Santilli and Will Burkmeyer.
And the chair votes Lisa Santilli and Will Burkmeyer. So on this one, I think we'll just do it as a single
Yep.
nomination. We can take those two out.
Now I can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Yule.
Mr. Chairman, I move to place in nomination the following names for appointment as associate members of the Historic District Commission for terms to expire on December 31, 2012. There's one opening for Grant Baxter at 32 Havel Street.
Second.
On the motion, Mr. Yule, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, next item on our agenda is the T-Mobile sublease. Mr. Belkonis.
Sublease that's in your packet provides that the footprint available for cellular communications facilities at the Tower Hill location would be increased from 225 square feet to 3,225 square feet. All of it would be within the existing fenced area. And the intent of it is, as you may recall, that when the location was bid, it was bid in a way that avoided us having to go out to place future bids and place the responsibility for subtenants on T-Mobile. And what T-Mobile is doing is, in an effort to attract additional co-locators to that site in which the town will share in the revenues, they need a sufficient footprint to accommodate those buildings and facilities. So that's what this is intended to do, is to expand the footprint of the original site location within the confines of the fence that exists at that location. Again, with the idea that the facility will be available for additional cellular communications companies.
The, in the process, are we defining the appropriate access that we need to maintain the water tank?
Yes, we have. We've identified our access to the site, and certainly there will be nothing that's in the new location that'll infringe upon the town's access to that facility.
Because when I look at the drawing here, I assume through the gate means if we wanted to bring a vehicle in, there's gonna be nothing in the pathway directly from the gate to the tank?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So the existing equipment is a pad that's shown on the drawing. It's kind of tiny, but over in one corner.
Yeah, it'll be located in what's considered to be the rear of the site. The Tower Hill Road would be on the bottom where it says plan. That's where the access to Tower Hill Road would be.
And there's also another section that's dotted out here. What is that, Greg?
I'm sorry.
Is that just town-owned land there? Is that what that?
Right behind it?
Right behind the, what
Is
I,
it dotted line running back?
says 43078, Town of North Reading.
No,
It's the box sticking out.
mm,
It's a-
I have to see what it is.
Oh, you don't
I
have
just
the
can't-
drawing?
No, I have the drawings, but I don't know what you're
It's down there.
What are you
I'm
referring to, sir?
This, we have different drawings.
All right.
Yeah.
No,
But
this
it's
one, right here. This area here.
Yeah,
That's
Behind the
the
tank.
school. That's the middle school property.
No, I'm talking about, there's a dotted line behind where the fence is on that,
That's the property line between 43079 and 077.
This line here?
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
town land.
Yeah.
so, in other- but
Divides this
that's,
property
there's
in half.
nothing on that section of land that the
Right.
town has.
Right, that's town-owned
So
property,
that could
is-
be expanded back if it had to be.
Correct.
Right, and I
But
think
currently, the fence is in the area that's in dark,
Right.
dark line.
Right, okay.
there's nothing located
Okay,
on
I
that
didn't mean
rear
to
piece.
confuse. You thought I was looking at the other drawing.
I did, yeah, I was looking at the dashed line for the underground utility service. So,
Okay. So, do we get additional lease money for this when they lease it?
yes,
And we get it from T-Mobile?
Correct.
In this one, not some of the others? The
correct.
others are different.
We would receive it directly from T-Mobile.
Questions, anybody?
No, no.
Seems to make sense if you want to expand the revenue source here. They need room to expand.
Will this have to go, I'm sorry, will this have to go before the ZBA or CPC?
CPC.
CPC?
So anyone that's looking to establish an additional cellular facility would have to get a special permit.
They get a special permit, the abutters will be notified again?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We'll be back through that process. Mr. Eagle?
Yeah, we went through all the necessary steps to properly and appropriately set up the tower and put the licenses in, as far as I know. And I think the board is aware that we did all this. But then there was a little bit feedback from residents, concerns that they felt there was nothing, there's no public hearings and stuff like that. And there were, you know, for the benefit of the public, to reassure them, just, if you don't mind, quickly letting the public know that, you know, we followed all the requirements that we need to as a board and as a town, and
Well, the Community Planning Commission has to issue a special permit. And if you refer back to the zoning bylaws, it's quite extensive. There's a very lengthy section on the process that needs to be followed, and all of the checks that are required by the Community Planning Commission before they would issue a permit. So that the pretty rigorous process that each of these companies has to go through. That was done. The Community Planning Commission was satisfied that it was appropriate, and a special permit was issued. Failing that action by the Community Planning Commission, the building inspector wouldn't issue a building permit, and nothing would happen. So it's, most of the vendors have initially had gone through the permitting process prior to getting the lease approved, but it appears as though at this point, the lease is the beginning of the process, and then they go out and they get the special permits after the fact. So I can assure you that the process was followed. People may not be happy, and I apologize for that. It's something that was previously approved by town meeting, and the location is appropriate.
Okay, great, thank
We have a motion.
you. Yes, we
Further,
do.
any?
Nope.
No, sitting here quiet, okay. Mr. Yule,
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the memorandum of lease and the First Amendment to telecommunications lease agreement between the Town of North Reading and T-Mobile Northeast LLC, and authorize the chairman to sign these documents.
motion by Mr. Yule, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Unanimous. Something for me to sign, or?
No, you and I will take a walk down to the town clerk's office because it needs to be
Oh,
notarized.
all right. Legal bills for February, Mr. Belkonis.
Total amount of the bill is $11,085. If you go through the green copy that's in your packet, you'll see that about $6,000 of that total is attributable to labor. And of that amount, about half of that is attributable to litigation involving the Quinn bill. You'll see that the council has identified the actions that were commenced by the Superior Officers Union and the Chief of Police concerning non-payment of the Quinn bill. This would leave a remaining balance after payment of this bill of $48,000 in the account, which is right in line with what our expectations are for total expenditures over the course of the year. You'll see a number of other labor cases that are shown here, which are just an identification of various arbitration claims that are ongoing and yet to be resolved.
When does our council come in and give us an update? When do they do that? I've lost track.
April or May?
Yeah, isn't it coming up soon?
Sometime in April?
I'd have to go back and check, because I know he had done some work on that. I know that he
He mailed us an update about,
there was,
Yeah, right,
there was a
right,
written
yeah,
litigation
right,
report
yeah.
that we did receive.
We did receive that, but normally they come
After
in.
town meeting.
usually he brings that in. with him.
Right, comes in,
Yeah,
I
after
wanna say
town.
April.
Yeah. I'll ask him.
Just
Okay,
comment on my review of it, and I've always thought their bills have been reasonable, their rates are reasonable. However, in review of this particular statement, I find that the charges associated with the Quinn bill litigation, a lot of it being duplicative.
Okay.
These are, the complaints are the same, so the responses would be more or less identical. The answers would be, as well as the discovery that was prepared. So that's the only thing I question in these three bills. It seems to be a little high, considering the work is the same in all three cases.
Charlie, what page are you on?
If you look at page 7,
the
the
Quinn bill
bottom,
items.
over to
in
page
March.
9, all the charges associated with the three cases, Jones versus Town, Brennan versus Town, and Nolan versus Town. I just raised
I
it.
think that's-
Just
I'll
have a
question
discussion with them,
that. Absolutely.
but in general, I find their bills to be reasonable, their rates reasonable. But this is the first thing that really jumped out at me when I reviewed it.
I'll ask them to look at that, and if there's an adjustment, it'll show up on the next bill.